Well, Berkshire Hathaway CEO Warren Buffett and his longtime business partner Charlie Munger offered their unique takes on the markets and economy at this weekend's annual shareholders meeting. The two spent hours weighing in on everything from the banking sector chaos to investment advice to the future of AI. And we've got Yahoo Finance's Josh Schafer here with us to break down some tough takeaways from the meeting. There's always a lot of good nuggets to pull out. Right. It's hard to choose. So give us what your top three are.
Yeah, Julie. So going into this, I think really what people were curious about is what Buffett would say on banks, given his history with the banks. And I think people were also wondering about that Occidental Petroleum stake and if they'd take full control of that. And then it's always interesting to hear what Warren and Charlie say about something futuristic, right? When you get the 90-year-old famous investors on stage and then they talk about something like AI, we're always excited to hear about that. But I want to start with banks first because we had been waiting for Buffett to say more on this. And one thing that he said was that it would have been catastrophic if depositors were not protected in that Silicon Valley Bank collapse. That was sort of the big headline there. And I think the two broader takeaways of what he said about banking were, A, he sort of laid out that while not all deposits are technically secured above $250,000, he said who would want to go on TV and not say those deposits are secured, and sort of basically saying the government is almost always going to step in to backstop these depositors, which I thought was very interesting, sort of saying a quiet thing out loud there. And then also what you're looking at there is Buffett's overall banking investments. Those are down from nearly $80 billion at one point down to about $40 billion now. One thing he did not do outside of one of his major holdings, Bank of America, he didn't talk up bank stocks. Obviously, a lot of what this meeting is learning what Warren Buffett likes and doesn't like and sectors he's interested in, right? He is not someone that is looking to go fishing in regional bank stocks right now or really the financial sector as a whole, and I think that was a big takeaway.
And then additionally, we got to talk about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, of course, any commentary that we would receive from these two famed investors would be at least a bit newsmaking.
And Charlie Munger said in Charlie Munger fashion, I think old-fashioned intelligence works just fine, or works pretty well. And I think that pretty much sums up, I think, what you could take from these two on artificial intelligence, too. It's not something that Munger, I don't think, he didn't seem overly interested in it. Now, Buffett, for his part, did say Bill Gates has actually showed him some of ChatGPT and OpenAI, which I found pretty interesting. And he said, of course, again, in Warren Buffett fashion, that AI can change everything in the world except how men think and behave, essentially saying there's a human element here and he doesn't think AI can take that over. So they're not going to necessarily be pouring all of their money into an AI play either, which I don't think anyone was expecting them to tout this weekend.
But that's also not the proposition of AI as it currently stands either, to be fair. It's not that it's replacing human thinking, it's replacing human repetitive tasks. But anyway, that's a bigger debate for another moment. The other big outstanding question for Berkshire Hathaway was whether it was going, and it has been an outstanding question, was whether it was going to buy the shares of Occidental Petroleum it doesn't own. And we got at least a short-term answer to that question.
Yeah, it was the first time Buffett has directly said this in a little while, but he said we're not going to buy control. He flat out said that. That actually wasn't even quite what the question was, but he decided to take it there, said there's been a lot of speculation, and he said we are not going to buy control of Occidental Petroleum. Now, of course, that's of interest because Berkshire Hathaway owns almost 25% of Occidental Petroleum and has been precipitously buying over the last year. Now, Warren did say they are still interested in buying Occidental Petroleum shares in the future and may buy more shares in the future. In fact, they have warrants on Occidental Petroleum at $59 a share. Shares are down a little bit in pre-market trading right now and very close to $59 a share. So it seems like they can buy up to 50%. Oh, they turned back up positive. There you go. But they had initially fallen in pre-market trading on the news that Berkshire wasn't planning to buy because that's something that Occidental shareholders have really been watching. Is there just going to be a straight-up takeover bid? Doesn't seem like that's going to happen, but they can buy up to 50%, and it seems like they're probably going to keep buying some more. They certainly like the stock.
All right, we're going to continue to see how those shares move as we get closer to the start of the trading activity. Thanks so much, Josh, breaking down all things Berkshire over the weekend.